Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I just finished up biking and taking a shower. I think I more or less have already stabilized what I'm doing for the current month. So I could be recording a lot more frequently. But yeah, what were we doing the last time? This is just the next day after I played yesterday. I think we were seeing a bit of Michiru's scene before I ended. Or was it Sakaki's? I think it was Sakaki's actually. Or you know, Yumiko. Alright, let's continue on though. But yeah, you guys at this point should already figure out how this game works. Basically just a day-by-day basis. Sometimes it's not even a single day only. Sometimes it actually does skip a couple of days. But I think for now, we haven't really been skipping too many days. Okay, imprinting. Newborn chicks identify the first thing they see as their parent. The term refers to this sort of rapidly formed, durable conviction. Today, almost anyone you ask will have heard something about the phenomenon, but fewer know that imprinting isn't limited to the animal kingdom, but also occurs among humans, even average female students. This particular discovery is the product of my own recent experience. Yeah. When I leave my room, I find Sachi heading toward the second floor with a deck brush and bucket. Is this a set cleaning time for the dorm? Then why are you carrying a bucket and deck brush? If I remember correctly, you told me a contractor comes in to clean the bathroom. Jeez, you're such a busybody, Sachi. So you're cleaning it on your own initiative? I guess that's sort of class rep-esque, but more importantly, class rep is so weird. Can't they just call it president or something? You intending to clean in that outfit? When you can, huh? Considering the vagueness of those words, I'm a little concerned about how she's interpreting them. So when you go out, what do you usually wear? How about when you're studying in your room? When you're in the bath? When you're sleeping? I get the picture. Basically, she's in a maid uniform pretty much every moment she's not in school. Ah, damn you, author. No wonder the principal said she wears them more often than not. But wearing a service uniform even when you're sleeping is a little... Wait, don't tell me you don't have any other clothes. So what? You just really enjoy wearing that uniform? Nah, I don't buy it, Sachi. This is definitely just the author trying to justify you wearing a maid uniform for his fetish. So basically, she likes the clothes themselves. Old or young Azai would probably be like, yeah, that makes sort of sense. But current Azai, I don't think so. Yeah, there's something not right about how you're justifying this. In that case, Sachi, let me give you my opinion on your style. Fundamentally, men are simple creatures. Rather than clothes with a narrow appeal like a maid uniform, we prefer a simple, straightforward, erotic look. That's a bit extreme. Also, it takes time and effort to change the appearance of your body itself. Okay, that's true. Right. For example, I'd imagine you're wearing modest underwear appropriate for a student, but what do you think would happen if you, the class rep, flashed everyone a peek at an unexpectedly adult lingerie?
どうなりますか?
That momentary glimpse of your unpredictability would dramatically shift the way people perceive you.
なるほど。目から鱗です。
I mean, he makes a fair point, true. In conclusion, underwear isn't something you hide, it's something you show off. Keep that in mind.
なるほど。下着は隠すものではなく、見せるものでもある。下着は隠すものではなく、見せるものでもある。
But if you go past the casual level with this, it'll backfire on you. Do it in moderation. Well, that should be common sense, but...
覚えました。
Alright, I think I've gotten my point across.
はい、わかりました。
Sure you did, Yuji. With those words, Sachi headed to the second floor. At that time, I had forgotten something very important. At this school, there are students for whom common sense doesn't always apply. I mean, doesn't that include you too?
Oh, Yuji, ohayo.
Yeah. When I entered the classroom, I exchanged greetings with Michiru, who was, as usual, the first to arrive. Next up, Sakaki arrives, taciturn as usual. I think that's how you say it. The energetic Sakata sisters follow.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
And finally, Sachi in her underwear. Her underwear? The four others freeze up at the unexpected spectacle. Coming to her senses, Amane grabs a maid uniform from Sachi's locker and throws it over to her.
はい、小峰幸、着替えます。前置きはいいから早く。はい。着替え終わりました。
Once Sachi's on the spot changing is complete, Amane sighs in relief.
ちょっとサチ、さっきの格好、どうしよう、まだつけてくるの忘れちゃったってどころの騒ぎじゃないわよ。
What the hell? I think that's better than forgetting about your bra. What the fuck?
いえ、今日は下着を見せようと思って。なんで？昨日、下着は隠すものではなく、見せるものでもあると教えてもらったので。
Sachi's reply is a word-for-word repetition of my advice from yesterday. Although that's admirable in a way, it seems the warning I added at the end went in one ear and out the other. And these withering glances of scorn aren't exactly comfortable either. Sorry, but my proclivities are pretty normal. I have no idea what that is. I'm not going to get off no matter how much you glare at me. I guess sexual preference? Could have sworn.
この状況でどこをどう間違ったらそういう考えになるのか、こっちが聞きたいくらいよ。それに、そういうことを言って得する人間は、今この学園に一人しかいないと思うんだけど。じゃあ、犯人はお兄ちゃん？最低ね。
With Amane's words, the other two turned their glares on me as well.
ねえ、ユウジ君、ちょっと聞きたいんだけど、もしかして昨日、さっちゃんに何か言った？
I did tell Sachi that underwear is more popular among the male population compared to a maid uniform. I didn't mean to demand that she come to school wearing nothing else.
あんたにそういうつもりがなくても、サチがそう思ったら同じことなの。
So this works on the same theory as schoolyard bullying.
サチはアマネなんかと違って純粋な子なんだから。それどういう意味？ああ、ごめん、ただの例えってだけだから。例えならいいって問題でもないと思うんだけど。あの二人に任せておくと話が進まないから代わりに言っておくけど。
Please.
小峰さんは融通が利かないというか、言い方は悪いけど頭にバカがつくほど真面目なのよ。
So much so that she'd hear wear a maid uniform when you can, and then wear nothing else from the next day on.
そうそう。ってなんであんたがそのこと知ってるのよ。
She told me herself the day I transferred in. Sachi confirms my words silently.
まあ今まで私たちに聞いてこなかったのが不思議なくらいだったしね。上に同じく。そういうわけでとにかくサチは純真なの。ピュアホワイトなのよ。ちょっと前十徳ナイフのことを説明した時にも言ったと思うけど、サチの前で軽はずみなことを言うとこう誰かみたいに後で泣きを見る羽目になるんだから。
True, it's pretty lame the way she keeps calling you Michiru-sama.
人がわざとぼかして言ってるんだからはっきり言うな。
I thought she was indirectly asking for the follow-up, but it seems she actually thought she was being vague.
他にもメイド服のまま水泳の授業を受けようとしたり、
寮の屋上からロープを垂らして外壁の掃除をしようとしたこともあったわね。
She sounds unusually athletic for a class rep.
仕事を選ばないのがクラス委員ですから。
まあ普通のクラス委員は着衣水泳をやろうとしたりロープとかの真似事はしないと思うけどね。
True enough.
とにかくそういうわけだからいい加減なことサチに吹き込まないように。
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
小峰さんも女の子なんだからもう少し慎みを持った方がいいと思うわよ。
はい、その線引きが非常に難しいですけど頑張ります。
よし、じゃあユージのこともギャフンと言わせたことだし1時間目の準備でもするとしますかね。さっきのやりとりの中でそんな部分あったかな。
Wait, what did she say? I was sort of blanking out, sorry. Okay.
そこは言わないでおいてあげるのが優しさってもんなのよさ。
Sorry, I was thinking about something.
小峰さ
Then
ん
I sort of just blanked
大
out.
人びた下着を持っているのね。
Apparently finished with their warnings and advice, everyone except Sachi returns to their respective seats.
すみません風見さん、私のせいで皆さんから怒られてしまって。
No, nothing to apologize for. I don't think I worded my advice that well, and I'm impressed by your willingness to put your body on the line.
ありがとうございます。
That's not really a compliment, you know? So this time, I think I'll teach you about how to casually emphasize your underwear.
そんな方法があるんですか？私また目から鱗がこぼれ落ちそうです。
God damn it, Yuji, you're gonna make her into a maid slut.
だからあんたたちは人の話を聞きなさいってば。
They say that for a parent bird, raising one chick to adulthood is the work of a lifetime, but for a transfer student, making friends with a classmate of the opposite sex is pretty rough in its own way. Is it? I don't know. When I was in high school, it wasn't really all that hard. I guess it depends on the depth of your friendship. On dark nights, it's not uncommon to mistake foliage swaying in wind for the movement of a sinister human form. If you're alert, you'll understand rationally that it's just an illusion, but your senses feed off that instinctive twinge of terror, transforming the rustling of leaves into the whispering of a demon. To the shrub or tree in question, this quirk of the human mind must be irritating. They mind their own business, spend their days earnestly assimilating carbon dioxide into ligneous tissue, and this is the thanks they get? Shut the fuck up, Yuji. But the plants don't get the worst of it. There's nothing quite as obnoxious as the way people push misconceptions onto their animals. All too often, pets are treated more like receptacles for the selfish delusions of human beings than companions. What if every pet in the world suddenly gained the ability to speak? I'm sure their owners are dying to hear their thoughts, but sometimes ignorance is bliss. It's difficult enough to come to a real understanding between fellow humans. How much harder would that be when one party is an animal? Believing in the fantasy that our pets love us back must be more pleasant than facing that reality.
ちょっと帰りなさい。ここはダメなんだから。
Oh, it's Michiru. A neurotic voice, out of place in the peaceful sunshine. In the past, Japan relied heavily on row housing apartments. With thin walls and nosy neighbors, having sex in your own home could be surprisingly awkward. But as a result, inns aimed specifically at couples sprung up, eventually developing into the famous love hotels. And modern housing circumstances usually follow for much greater privacy at home. In conclusion, having sex outdoors in this day and age is less likely an attempt at consideration toward your neighbors, and more likely an attempt at getting an additional thrill. We've got a pervert.
そんなところ舐めないで。
Normally, I'm not in the habit of criticizing other people's fetishes, but screwing al fresco carries far higher risks than an amateur might expect. It's a highly unsanitary business. That's actually true. It'd be pretty damn awkward to actually have sex outside. Though you see that quite often on, you know, hentai games or even JAVs. But from a sanitary perspective, it's kind of disgusting. But it is people's fetishes though, and I don't really king shame people for liking it. Just do it in moderation and don't become a freak, okay, in real life. I don't have the slightest idea who might be fornicating here, but I should really tell them off for their own good. Hey idiots, did you at least put down a blanket? I'd been expecting a half-naked couple tangled together, so I'm surprised to find Matsushima Michiru all by herself. I see. So you weren't a mere tsundere after all. You were in fact a sexually frustrated, perverted tsundere.
ちょっと、変態ってどういうこと？
I'm actually relieved in a way. You may be twisted, but at least you found a path to follow. Keep at it.
笑顔で肩を掴んでこないでよ。だからなんなの？役ってどこが？首か？
No. Your head seems to be on relatively straight today.
いつだって首は普通だっちゅうの。
Listen, I'm telling you that I have respect for your deviant spirit. You're a first-class pervert.
いきなり現れて
Defiant?
人を
You
変態
deviant?
扱
I
いす
don't
る
know.
なんて失礼じゃないの？
What else would you call someone who gets off outdoors without a thought for their surroundings?
自分で？何のこと？とにかく変態じゃないんだからね。ブワーカ。
It appears I may have misinterpreted the situation. Of course, there's a good possibility she's deceiving me out of sheer embarrassment, but I'm a kind enough human being to sympathetically pretend otherwise. I see. Sorry, well, either way, I'll pretend to not to have seen this.
なんで見なかったことにするのよ。
Alright, let's say it was rehearsal for a play. A play in which you're attacked by a hoodlum. Your mouth keeps saying no, but your body says yes. Sound about right?
そんなことするわけないでしょ
Okay, so your body keeps saying yes, but your mouth says no?
う。同じことじゃないの。襲われたら拒否するだけよ。受け入れるわけないでしょ
What? Isn't a tsundere supposed to give in right away?
そんなわけないでしょ。どうすればそんなアクロバティックな解釈が出てくるのよ。
Well, I'd heard that a tsundere is a woman who says no when she means yes.
あんたっておっさんみたいなこと言うのね。女の子が嫌がってる時は大抵本当に嫌な時なのよ。それを男の都合で解釈されたらたまんないわね。
It actually is more... It doesn't matter if it's a girl or a guy, okay, Michiru? I guess some of the writing in this game is a bit outdated since there are definitely a lot of gender roles that are a bit forced in some of the stuff that these people say, right? But yeah, I am a pretty... What is it? I'm a pretty gender neutral guy. I don't really care about if you're a guy or a girl. You have the same rights in my eyes. So it's not just a girl that says no, it means no. When a guy says no, it's also no. You know? I see. The tsundere is more complex than I thought.
そうよ、難しいのよ。って言っても私はナチュラルボーンツンデレですから、そういうのもさらっとこなしちゃうけどね。
Piece of cake, eh?
さらっとよ。
Boom.
ボーン。
What the hell? Boom. By the way, what's that black bushy thing you've got hidden there?
処理したのに。
Got rid of it. Look to your left. This time Michiru seems to have misunderstood something, so I point to her side. There's some sort of black lump of hair partially visible.
そうよ、そうなのよ。困ったのよ、この子ってばこんなところまでついてきちゃって。うふ、私のことが好きみたいなの。参っちゃうわね。
The lump of fur stretches grandly, revealing its identity. It was in fact a small black cat. The black cat coils around Michiru's legs, purring loudly. Unlike your average Roten house cat, it's a bit scrawny, and its hair is dirty and shaggy. Did he really follow you? It looks more like you carried him here.
なんでそういうこと言うの？
Cats don't follow people around unless they're very used to human company. I can't imagine an animal that's careless enough to casually follow some random blonde around would survive long in the wild.
勝手についてきたのよ。本当だもん。
You bribe it with food?
してないもん。
In that case, maybe it followed you instinctively. Immaturity might be a factor.
ちょっと待ちなさいよ。誰が乳臭いって？
Sakaki?
さかきか。それでこの子を元の場所に返さないとって思ってるの。寮で飼うわけにはいかないでしょ。協力してくれる？
No. I like how she's like, you're gonna help me, right? Nope. Why do I have to play house with you? Do it yourself.
あんたさ、女の子には優しくしなさいって言われなかった？
Actually, not really. I never really got thought that as a kid myself. Anybody? Like who?
誰にって、誰かによ。誰にだっていいけどさ。わかった。私が言う。今あんたに言ってあげる。女の子には優しくしなさいよね。
No.
それはないでしょうね。
You can handle a single cat on your own. There's nothing for me to help with. If you were in serious trouble, I'd lend a hand. But you shouldn't rely on others for every little thing. That's actually very true.
あんたって冷たいのね。信じらんない。アンビリーバボらんない。
What the fuck? The freaking English in this game is pretty nice. Baboon.
バボー。
Alright then, you put that thing back where you found it. Bye. I don't know why she reacted that way. I never understood that. Maybe it's a Japanese comedy thing. Comedy skit that I'm not getting.
待ちなさいよ。せめてこうなんかないの？もうちょっとこう優しげなあれはないの？
You're really hopeless. Very well. In recognition of your empty head, loose morals, and general incompetence, I'll give you a hint.
ありがとう。
Are you aware that cats hate certain scents? Citrus in particular. If you have something like that, it'll drive him off in no time.
うん、それは知ってるけど、どうすればいいのやら。あ、私のシャンプー、クレープフルーツの香りなんだけど。
That's it. In other words, your twin tails are soaked with cat repellent. If you dangle them in front of that vile black feline, there's no doubt he'll flee. Alright, this mission is designated the Battle of the Bulge, Cat Edition. Engage the enemy at once.
どうやって？猫憎くないけど。
As of this moment, I'm designating that plastic ornament on the right side of your head, Alpha, and the plastic ornament on the left, Bravo. First, get Alpha in front of the cat.
プラサグが
Shut up and move. Alpha, forward. Attack.
かかります。こう。
Yes, right face. Now, quickly rotate. Support unit Bravo to the front. Alpha, take rear guard. Man, he's really enjoying this fucking Yuji. What the fuck? Good, the target's losing his will to fight. Finish him off with Charlie.
待って。何？急に出てきたチャーリーって誰？
That tuft sticking up out of your head, obviously. Begin vibrating it at once.
これ？これがチャーリー？ブルブルブルブル。
With feeling.
ブルブルブルブルブルブルブルブルブルブルブル。にゃーお。乗ってない。
He is indeed.
あんた、この状況を見て何か言うことは。
Analysis complete. Abnormal perspiration, animal on head, eyes like a dead fish. The above 3 points conclude my observations.
違う、事態が悪化したことへの謝罪とかないのってことでしょ。どうしてこうなった？
Yeah, I can't defend Yuji this time. This is definitely 100% his fault. Because your head looked comfortable?
そういうことじゃなくて、これ追い返すどころか馴染んでるじゃないの。
True. The operation has failed. Retreat!
解散しちゃダメ。責任取りなさい。
God, you're hard to please. Guess I'll have to bring out my trump card. Hold your current position. I'll go get a bucket and water.
ちょっと待って。今なんて？
I'm getting a bucket and water.
なんでそんなことするの？あんたよくそんなひどいことできるわね。
Cruel thing. Did you think I was going to dump water on the cat?
じゃあ何するの？
Sit on the bucket, drink the water, and take a break.
なんで急に休憩時間に入っちゃうのよ。そんでお水まで飲んじゃうの？バカなの？
Did you just make light of water breaks? You maggot! Are you underestimating the horrors of dehydration? By the time your body is asking you for water, it's already too late. Regular, moderate fluid intake is absolutely crucial.
いや、分かってますから。その部分をバカって言ったわけじゃないよ。だから、熱く語らないで。
Oh, sorry. Couldn't help myself. Well then, I'll be getting that bucket, so stand by.
待機しない。この状態を早くどうにかしなさいよね。これじゃあ猫かぶってるってみんなに言われちゃうでしょ。にゃー。
The shoe fits.
うさい。
No, seriously. It seems to have taken to you quite a bit. If you want to drive it off, maybe sprinkling water on it really is the best option. You do want to drive off the cat as soon as possible, right?
そうだけど、でもそんなひどいこと絶対しないで。
It's just a stray cat, so I think I can. I'll get the water.
ダメだってば。猫ニャーがかわいそう。
Hmm? Kitty, meow.
言ってません。そんなこと言ってません。そんなことより早くこの子をどうにかしないと。
Right. Splashing water from a bucket it is then.
それは絶対にダメなの。猫にゃ。そう。この猫がかわいそう。何よ。
Is that his name?
何が？
Is that the name you gave the cat?
だから何がよ。
I'm asking whether you gave this animal that ridiculous name. Answer me.
違います。そんなこと言ってませんし、名前なんてつけてません。もう何よ。
sorry. Bumo.
ブモモで、さっきからちょいちょいなんで変な言葉を言わせてるのよ。
Oh, you caught on. I noticed this habit you have of repeating short phrases. So I was experimenting to see how far you'd go with it.
勝手にそんな実験しないでよね。こっちは頭の上に動物乗ってて忙しいんだから。
Pushu.
プシやんないもん。
Intriguing. By the way, that kitty meow of yours has been licking your Charlie vigorously for a while now.
にゃっぷにゃっぷにゃっぷにゃっぷにゃっぷにゃっぷ。私のチャーリーを。
Shall I drive it off?
お願いします。でも水はかけないでね。それはダメだからね。
Understood. Alright, here we go. As I take my first step forward, the cat leaps off Michiru's head and runs off somewhere. It's a bit climactic, but I fulfilled Michiru's request. And yet Michiru is glaring at me in apparent displeasure. You'd almost think she didn't really want me to scare the cat off. Good for you. He ran off.
ありがとう。
You don't look particularly happy.
そんなことないもん。 せいせいしたわね。猫にまとわりつかれるなんて本当にうんざりしちゃう。私どっちかっていうと犬が好きだしね。
As Michiru speaks, she's gazing fixedly in the direction where the cat disappeared, her expression wistful. That's a shame.
そうね。残念じゃないわよ。猫うざい。超うざいんですけど。
That aside, I'd consider thinking a little harder next time.
何をよ。
The name, Kitty Meow, is a bit...
猫いなくなってスキリスキリ。さあもう今日は何して遊ぼうかしら。ルールラー。
Even as Michiru spits out those strained words, she's walking off in the direction the cat disappeared. She's clearly gotten attached to it. Why hesitate to admit she's fond of the thing? Why not just be honest about it? Maybe there's something else going on here. Then again, expecting a deeper reason from a girl who named a cat Kitty Meow might be a little too optimistic. And as mysteries go, that tralalar as she left also qualifies. Although it seemed like nothing more than a bizarre shriek, perhaps it's a special cipher that will reveal a coherent message when parsed with a certain algorithm. You're thinking too much, Yuji. Don't think so. I mumble to myself in self-derision. Michiru is weird. She's not my favorite, but I also don't think she's my least favorite. She's kind of there in the middle for me, in terms of the characters that I like in this game. I don't know though. We'll see as I go to her route again in the future. Habits are persistent things. Even when your circumstances change, they tend to stay with you. Take mealtimes for example. I eat at 7 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, and 7 in the evening. If you know the time, you know how full my stomach is. My sleep patterns are even easier to understand. Same, mine too. Unless I'm working or have something to do, my eyelids naturally grow heavy after 10 p.m., and I'm asleep by 11 p.m. at the latest. Even if I don't set an alarm, my eyes open on their own every morning, and usually find the clock reading 4:45 a.m. For me, it's like 5:30 because I'm hungry at that hour. After spending 15 minutes half asleep in bed, I slowly rouse myself and apply the eye drops I keep cool in the refrigerator. Next, I drink a bottle of oolong tea, replenishing the fluids I lost through sweating in my sleep. A quick check of the weather outside my window, and I change into my sweats and head out for my daily run. These are more rules than habits for me at this point. Today, as usual, I alternated jogging with wind sprints, responding to the echo of the drill instructor's whistle inside my head. But at this very moment, outside my empty dorm room, a far from routine incident was beginning to take shape. I was heading back to my room after my run, planning on a quick shower and some breakfast, when I noticed something unusual. Suo Amane was skillfully moving her slippered feet down the stairs, careful not to make the slightest sound. The instant I saw her movements, precisely those of an agent on an infiltration mission, I instinctively hid myself in the shadows. I'm now watching her every move. Suo Amane? That woman? Could it be? There's a cold, sticky sweat on my forehead, and it's not the product of my daily exercise. Am I her target? Amane is holding a key in her right hand. Glancing cautiously around her surroundings, she moves to my door. She takes great care to unlock it with a gradual, silent movement. Just as I thought, it's my room. I consult my watch. It's still early morning. There's only one reason to sneak quietly into a man's room at this hour. Fucking idiot. Assassination. Sure, yeah, Yuji, sure. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe that Suo Amane is an agent working for some unknown organization. But now that I think back, there were a lot of things that didn't make sense. She was aggressively friendly to me from our very first meeting, never showing a hint of embarrassment at pushing herself onto me. And yet she's never showed any particular interest in my past. Just how convenient is that for me? Her lack of interest in my past makes sense if she's already received an overview of my background. At a glance, she's just your typical horny big sister roleplayer, but that could be a front hiding a killing machine. A woman who takes lives as naturally as she draws breath. I hadn't read her that way, but that's probably because I let my guard down. Unbelievably sloppy. If my master was alive, she'd knock me on my ass for this one. A convenient woman like that is obviously too good to be true. But even as I reproach myself, my chest is burning with bitter sadness. Oblivious to my silent regret, Amane eases my door open and begins to inch her way inside. Amane speaks in a whisper, probably a safeguard against the possibility that I'd awoken earlier than she expected. When there's no response, she continues to move into the room. I quietly follow, concealing myself in the shadows to avoid alerting her to my presence. Of course, she finds my bed empty. Amane looks around the room quickly, and after a moment opens the door to my bathroom and pokes her head in to continue her search. What exactly was she planning to say if I hadn't been taking a shower? Say what? Wait a second. Suo Amane? Did you seriously sneak in here for that idiotic... No, hold on. Could she have noticed my presence? Is this all just a masterful farce? Suo Amane, you're one hell of a woman. Very well. Let's see just how long you can keep up this little act. Mind your own business. I'm working on it at my own pace. They're going in the laundry later anyway, and I was going to finish that after my run, okay? She's finally ready to lay her trap. Or not. Amane picks up the bottle and starts to gather my scattered clothes from the floor. For some reason, Amane unfolds the clothes in front of her face, buries her nose into them, and begins inhaling their scent. Can't believe you voiced Natsumi Amane. God damn you! You're tarnishing her image! So Amane, are you a dog? Or rather, a bitch in heat. Are you a pervert, So Amane? Hey, what now? Why are you staring at my bed? Wait, you. Don't tell me. Hiya yourself. Did you seriously just jump onto my bed? She's crazy. And now she's pressing her face into my sheets and snuffling loudly. Yeah, I think, I don't know what my thoughts on Amane was back in the day, but as of currently, she might be at the bottom of the list. I don't really like this sort of person anymore. Don't stick your face in my bed. Don't shake your ass around. Don't stick your face in my bed and shake your ass around. This girl really is a dog in human form. I can't believe you're Natsumi again. God damn you, Amane! If you press your nose against the covers and inhale over and over, of course you're going to get lightheaded from lack of oxygen. More importantly, is this what I think it is? If I'm reading this correctly... Yeah, a censored version, by the way. I think even in the original, this scene doesn't have a CG, though. This woman is, in fact, a horny big sister roleplayer. Allow me to correct myself. This woman is, in fact, a sex-crazed maniac. Big sister roleplayer. In parenthesis. Drunk on the man stink that's apparently lingering in my bedsheets, Amane wriggles her body, breathing roughly through her nose. But watching her shameful display, I feel more relieved than anything else. At the very least, there's no assassin this stupid. Now that I think this over calmly, there's no way anyone would arrange such an elaborate assassination for me. A traffic accident would be more economical, and a cleanup after the fact much less troublesome. All that suddenly ridiculous tension I'd been filled with leaks out of my mouth. At this point, I finally noticed that I'm very thirsty. Moving relatively quietly, I open the door to my fridge and retrieve a large bottle of sports drink. I twist the cap off and drink directly from the bottle, gulping down a mouthful of cold liquid. As the chill soaks into my parched throat and the electrolytes course through my strained body, I realize just how worked up I've been over nothing. Within her fantasy, I've apparently begun to reach my hand toward Amani's underwear. She's very concerned about this for some unclear reason. At this rate, I'm going to get a real show free of charge. What to do? Maybe the gentlemanly thing would be to go back outside, then noisily pretend to return. With that thought, I start to return my drink to the fridge. But just as I separate my mouth from the 2-liter bottle, the liquid inside sloshes around vigorously, making a surprisingly loud sound. Unfortunately, that sound shatters Amani's illusion, just as she's begun a slow, inviting wiggling of her hips. She springs up out of the bed, her eyes wide open. There's no time to hide. I'm standing there with a sports drink in my hand, staring at Amani, and she's staring right back. For a while now. If I honestly tell Amani that I saw the whole thing, she might be hurt. Maybe I should be considerate and tell her I didn't see anything. But, at this point, that would be way too barefaced a lie. So the middle ground would be to say, I only saw the last part? Let's see. I think it was, you can't, Yuji-kun. Or maybe, stop, restrain yourself. This is so stupid. I mean, at least it's comedic. But I don't know. I really think Amani needs more depth than just the... You know, the slutty girl. What's wrong? You're sweating like crazy. Then again, I guess I can't really say that everyone has depth right now, right? It progressively will be clearer the more you play through the game. You're sweating like crazy. You want some of this sports drink? I already took a swig, just so you know. Is? Why? Should I have sung a song to help you get in the mood? Her legs buckling underneath her, Amani drops to the floor with a thud, covers her face with both hands, and breaks down in hysterical tears. Look, I'm the one who should be screaming here. Coming back to your room to find a woman wriggling around in your sheets. I don't remember learning an appropriate response to this particular scenario. Look on the bright side. At least you noticed me before you start rubbing my pillow between your legs, right? Hey, Amani! Amani pushes past me and runs away screaming, still hiding her face in her hands. Although from the state of her ears, I can infer that it's bright red. What am I supposed to do with this woman? It's hardly that big a deal, but apparently I'm the only one that thinks so. A good hour later, it's time to go to school, but Amani's locked herself in her bathroom and shows no signs of emerging.
うんだってば。
え、じゃあまさか来ないの？もしかして産んでるの？
Man, I can kind of see why people would think that Machina is annoying. God damn this girl.
違うって言ってんだぞば。
Thankfully, I'm not the like target for Machina's stupid ramblings, but if I was in Amane's shoes, I can see how Machina could be annoying. Well, the exact details aren't any of my business, but it seems that Machina's persistent siege eventually convinced Amane to leave the bathroom.
まったくもう、あまねえのせいですっかり遅くなっちゃったのよさ。もう走らないと遅刻なのよ。
だからごめんってば。
Don't be too harsh. Amane has her reasons.
ごめんね、お兄ちゃんにまで付き合わせちゃって。ほら、あまねえも謝りなさい。
ごめん。
Don't worry about it. This is almost my fault in a way.
つうかあんたのせいでしょが。
っていうか、何があったのよさ。
I'll tell you when you're a little older, Machina.
話さなくていいから、一緒に黙ってていいから、お願いだから。
You can practically see the question mark floating over Machina's head as she tries to get a grasp on the situation. Meanwhile, Amane seems to be trying to get through this by force of will alone. The three of us leave the dorm and begin to run toward our classroom. What's wrong, Machina? You're falling behind. Run!
私、走るの嫌いなのに。あまねえのアホ。
Yes, yes. Breathe into the mic some more. God damn these games.
だから何度も謝ったでしょ。
Alright then, Machina. I'll teach you a wonderful song that makes running more enjoyable.
歌？何それ？どんな歌？
It's called a running cadence. At my old school, we sung these all the time when we had to run. Repeat after me, got it?
うん。
So, Amane is a beach and heat?
そう、あまねはいいんなんだ。
This is so stupid. Rolling around in a man's bed sheets.
男のベッドで身もだえる。
ちょっとその歌。
Good for you.
Good for you.
Good for me.
Good for me.
Good. What the fuck is wrong with this dude?
なんで？面白いじゃんさ。
Don't sing while you're running, by the way. Unless you really just wanna, you know, waste all that oxygen in your lungs even more. Well then, shall we take a leisurely walk and sing some nice nursery rhymes instead?
それこそやめなさい。シャレにならないわよ。
Although I'd been considerately trying to turn the whole incident into a joke so that we could laugh it off together, things didn't wrap up that neatly. Machina enjoyed the cadence call more than I'd expected. And when she got Sachi to join in a loud chorus during PE class that day, our classmates naturally started asking about the lyrics. Amane's response was to hang her head deeply and vaguely mumble, I don't even care anymore. The smile on her face at that moment was truly hollow. I mean, it was her fault. It wasn't really Yuji's fault.
せっかくみんなで遊ぼうってことになったんだから、ユミコも参加しなさいよ。
The moment I leave my room, I'm met with a shrill voice from the lobby.
私はそれを決めた場にいなかったもの。
それでもたまには全くしょうがないわねって言いながら参加してくれるのが優しさってもんじゃない。
たまにでいいなら今日は参加しなくてもいいってことよね。
もうガグあんたはまた人の揚げ足取って。
From what I can gather, Michiru is trying to drag Sakaki into some sort of group event. So, do those two dislike each other after all? I asked Amane, who's watching the fight from the sidelines, to clear up a point of confusion.
仲が悪いってわけじゃないと思うけど、ほら、お互いの性格がね。
I see. Michiru tries to bring things together as everyone's leader, while Sakaki avoids excessive contact with those around her. It's only natural that these two would come into conflict pretty frequently.
それにこの年になってまでおままごとを楽しむ気はないわ。
あんたね、いい加減にしないと私も本気で怒るわよ。
そう、それなら私にも考えがあるわ。
別にそんなの全然怖くないんだから。
Judging from the way she isn't backing down, even with that box cut in her face, Michiru's gotten a little heated herself. Shouldn't we stop this?
そうね、二人が言い合うのはいつものことだけど、そろそろマキナも怖がり始めたし。
I looked down to find Makina hiding behind Amani's back, watching the scene fearfully. If you want, I can try to calm them down.
それなら大丈夫。私たちには大魔人がついてるから。
A demon lord?
じゃあ、さっちゃん、お願いね。わかりました。
And so the fearsome demon lord, or rather, Sachi slowly advances toward her prey. You crazy? Sachi's obviously not cut out for this role.
やっぱそう思う？
No offense to Sachi, but when it comes to stopping an argument, I think it'd be more effective, Amane.
普通はそう考えるわよね。でも、実際は違ったの。
There's a precedent.
そう。あれは、ユージ君以外のみんなが揃ってすぐの頃だったと思うけど。その時も、今と同じようなことが起こって、最初は私が止めに入ったんだけど、結局二人は言い合いをやめてくれなかった。それで藁をもつかむ勢いでさっちゃんにお願いしてみたんだけど、そしたら
She pulled it off.
しかも私やマキナが驚くくらいバシッとね。
あの時のサッチかっこよかったのよさ。
This is a little hard to swallow, honestly.
それはこれから起こることを見てれば嫌でも納得できるわよ。
Seeing is believing, is it?
みちる様、榊さん。何よ、サチ。今私ちょっと忙しいんだけど。
私も話なら後で聞くわ。
あまねさんにお願いされているので、それだと少し困るというか。それより早くその物騒なものをしまいなさいよ。
ならそっちが先に考えを改めてくれる？
私は二人にお話があります。みんなが困っているので喧嘩をやめてくれませんか？やだなあ、サチ。私たちは別に喧嘩してたわけじゃないわよ。ねえ、榊さん。
ええ、そうね、松島さん。
What the hell is that? She just asked them, and she did a crappy job of it.
でも効果てきめんでしょ。
True, the wind has completely gone out of Michiru and Sakaki's sails.
きっとサッチ二人の前でブチぬわーって顔してるんだよ。
どうして広島弁出た？今。
You know, maybe because I'm a bit biased now since I was playing Chrono Box before I played this game, which was also a game where you were handling a lot of misfits in a school. But I think this game kinda has too many tropes. It's a lot less serious than Chrono Box is probably why the reason to me anyway right now it's what is it? It kinda isn't that serious, and to some degree it might be its strongest appeal to not be that serious of a story. But I guess because I have a comparison now to this somewhat of the same story, or at least somewhat of the same setting, it's just two beasts that's way too different, I guess. This game doesn't really take itself too seriously, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. after reading that series of stories, reading this, it's still good, but I do think like there's a bit too much comedy. I see. So this is the nature of her demonic powers. Like it's taking the story is a bit too normal for a supposed school that have abnormal people, right? The story and the characters' personalities are way too normal. Hey, Michiru. Seeking further details, I captured Michiru as she totters away from the scene.
何よあんたこんな突然
Why did you stop arguing just now?
あんたはまだ本気の幸を見たことがないからそんなことが言えるのよ
Sachi has a serious mode?
そうよく目で人を焦がすとか言うでしょ
I've heard if looks could kill at least.
そうとも言うやつ幸のあれはまさしくそれよ
I guess this is probably something that most Asians can understand. I think a lot of Asians do this sort of thing. Or technically not Asians, probably more like children, to be honest. I remember when I was a kid, when I hated someone or when I was very upset with someone, I would also give them the stink eye. But it's not really effective, depends on where you're doing it. It's actually funny when you give someone the stink eye and their response is like, what? You can only look at me that way and you don't want to punch me or something? Like, they're actually provoking me after that. In other words, when Sachi needs to, she can fire a glare powerful enough to kill. I don't really believe in this glare powerful enough to kill thing. It's pretty dumb.
その通りしかもあの目は間違いなく10万馬力は出てるわね
Michiru continues to mumble to herself as she sits down on a nearby sofa.
やっぱり私小峰さんが一番苦手だわ
Sakaki, for her part, is unusually pale in the face.
これが一見気の弱そうなさっちゃんがクラス委員を任されている理由ここには個性の強い学生が集まってるからいざって時みんなに言うことを聞かせられる人間がいないとまずいじゃない
Yeah, I think the reason why... what is it? This story is too... They're too friendly to each other. I think that's it. That's the thing. They're too friendly to each other. Another good comparison to this story before I played this game previously was Cross Channel. It was also about a group of misfits. And that one was actually really good. I actually rated higher than this game, even back then. I don't know how I would rate that nowadays, but I definitely like that game or that story a lot.
でそれができるのは私じゃなくさっちゃんだったってわけ
So it seems. The nature of the story is just different though. These guys are really friendly to each other. Unlike the nature of the other games that I said, Cross Channel and also Chrono Box.
さっちゃんはよくわかりましたって言って何でも頼み事を引き受けてくれるけどさっちゃんのわかりましたは私たちにとって問題の解決とイコールなの
You really place a lot of trust in Sachi's abilities.
そうなのよ実は怒らせると一番怖いのはサッチンかもしれないんだからガオーって
It seems like I may have been underestimating Sachi. Hey Sachi.
はい
There's more to you than meets the eye. That was pretty impressive.
ありがとうございます
さて榊さんも参加してくれる気になったみたいだし早速ボードゲーム大会を始めましょうか
Have fun. Don't worry about the noise. I'm the type who can sleep next to train tracks.
何言ってるのユージくんもやるのよ
What?
みんなで遊ぶって言ってるんだから当然あんたも入ってるに決まってるでしょうが
私も強制参加させられているのだから分かっているわよね
なのよねサッチン
はい
They've been going at it like cats and dogs just moments ago, but all of a sudden it's an utterly united front. Might be a little late in the game to realize it, but I seem to have ended up in a pretty troublesome school.
A 液と B 液を混ぜる作業、何度やっても手が震えてくる。頭皮のズキズキを想像すると憂鬱になってくるわね。でもこれをやらないと色が綺麗な金髪でいられないからな。やけどしたみたいに痛いけど仕方ないのよミチル、我慢しなきゃ。ああそうだ、一応皮膚に保護のためのクリームを塗り塗りと。ではこれを頭に。はっ！
The hell is she doing? Although it's not uncommon to hear someone who acts in bizarre or stupid ways derided as a space alien, as a general rule, the aliens I've seen in movies possess advanced intelligence surpassing humanity's. In some, they're even depicted as virtual gods, manipulating genetic sequences to control human evolution. Do aliens exist? If you ask scientific authorities on the subject, they'll tell you in all likelihood yes. But just as the children's eyes begin to sparkle, the scientists take a malicious afternote. Not that they're anything like what you're thinking. Even if we do find some alien water flea wriggling around on a distant planet, I can't imagine it will inspire too passionate a response from the general public. The people don't want a ripoff like that for their ET. What they want is a simple by-the-book alien. Although I've experienced a wide range of auditory stimuli in my time, this is quite the ear-splitting shriek. There's considerable distance between me and the source, so there's no damage to my eardrums. But if I had to approach, I'd need to prepare myself a pretty decent set of earmuffs. Compared to the 120 decibels produced by the engine of a civilian aircraft, this is no match in pure volume. But when you consider the sheer unpleasantness factor, it's a pretty competitive match.
また始まったのよさ。
Again? Mind explaining what's going on?
これはチルチルの儀式なのよ。これが始まったらしばらくは続くのよさ。
How long is a while? Several days? Weeks?
そんなに長くはないのよ。スペインのトマト祭りだって1時間しかやらないんだから。まあ、それよりかは長いけどな。
Actually don't know about this tomato fight festival. What exactly is that woman doing, other than shrieking like a banshee?
それが私にもわからないのよさ。チルチル宇宙人説っていうのが一番濃厚なのよ。変な声出してマザーシップとコンタクトしてるんじゃないかって踏んでるのよさ。まあ、
Oh, sorry.
一種の儀式だわな。
Communicating with the stars, eh? I see. Plausible. That woman is definitely a little out of the ordinary.
そうそう。ちょっとね。あれなのよ。おつむか。
I don't think you should necessarily talk.
そうなのよね。強くね。言えないと思うのよね。
I'm somewhat interested in the nature of this ceremony. Let's take a look.
私はチルチルのあんな姿を見たくないから失礼するのよさ。
Like that? Like what exactly?
口では説明できないのよ。だからその目で確かめてくるがいいのよさ。
Sorry. I see. Then I'll do just that. As I approach Michiru's room, I notice a strange stench in the air. This is foul. Some kind of gas? The membranes of my nose twitch in response. My body recalls the tension it's known in the field. I was trained to retain a capacity for action in a cloud of tear gas, but the irrepressible coughing and running nose, the pain in your eyes, and the irritation of your skin will always lower your effectiveness. No, my mistake. This isn't gas. I thought it might have been dispersed pepper spray, but that seems to have been a misjudgment. The odor is terrible, but it's not dense enough to affect my... What's this? The ceremony Makino was talking about? I actually know what the hell she's doing, but I don't actually know if it actually hurts. Is what she's doing really that painful? It hurts. What's that supposed to mean? This ceremony. Don't tell me it involves human sacrifice. When you think of human sacrifice, the Mayan civilization is what comes to mind. In order to offer tribute to the god of the sun, it said they would paint a human being blue and gouge out their still beating heart. That sounds creepy, okay? But ceremonies like that should have been ancient history by now. And in the first place, we're in Japan here, you know? It's hard to believe, but if Michiru happens to have painted her body blue, then it's bingo. What? She's emerged! I immediately tumble my way across the hall with a skillful shoulder roll, hide myself in the shadows, and silence the sound of my breath. In this moment, I know fear. What the fuck? Not the fear of death or the fear of darkness. This is in fact a variety of terror completely new to me. To explain its nature concisely, what the hell is this? Michiru's body was not, in fact, dyed blue, which is all well and good, but rolls of cling wrap are draped all around her head. From inside, a mysterious sap drips out in globs. Just as Makina said, Michiru's eerie, irregular movements are reminiscent of a space alien. This must be the particular variety of terror that accompanies a close encounter of the third kind. If I'm discovered, all bets are off. It's that sort of fear. I mean, as much as I'm complaining about how the story is, or how this story is being portrayed, I am having a decent laugh from the scenes, so it is doing something right. Michiru wanders around the hallway with vacant eyes. Her cries are truly bizarre. Is she receiving a message? Or could that shriek itself be her transmission to the stars? Man, the voice actor must be having fun playing Michiru. Michiru draws near. Her lips are trembling violently, and her eyes seem to have rolled back in her head. She passes my hiding place and wanders off somewhere. It's been a long time since I wished so desperately from the bottom of my heart. Please don't find me. She's left a slimy trail behind her, like a slug. I thought she was nothing more than a tsundere wannabe. To think she'd conduct such a mysterious ritual. Clearly, I need to handle her with more caution.
あなた、何してるの？そんなところで不自然に寝転がって。
If it isn't Sakaki, let me ask you instead. What are you doing standing up like that? As for me, I was just taking evasive action in response to a certain crisis.
キキ？そう、大変なのね。
I stand up, brushing off the dust my clothes picked up during my roll across the floor. Incidentally, what are your thoughts on extraterrestrial life? I know it's a difficult question, but I want to organize my own thoughts on the matter. Please let me hear your opinion. Sakaki answers my sudden question without hesitation.
そうね。来年には宇宙戦争が始まるわ。
What?
宇宙からのファーストコンタクト。それは思いもよらない形から始まる。最初は予兆、そして接触。人間たちは未知の恐怖に怯え、理解よりも警戒が勝ってしまう。その結果、人々は安らかな睡眠のために武器を手に取ることを選択するのよ。
Did you just finish like reading a book about this or something? A battle for survival, huh? Sometimes there's no room for any other choice. And there's an old saying, the first blow is half the battle.
でもナポレオンはこう言ってる。戦いは最後の5分間にある。
I see where you're going with this.
宇宙戦争は 人類の敗北という形で幕を引く。恐怖から逃れるために武器を取ることは間違っていると最後に結んでその小説は終わったわ。
I think the War of the Worlds thing is actually an alien movie. I am not really a movie person though, so I have no idea where this is referenced from. Novel? Oh, we were talking about a book?
当たり前じゃない。宇宙人についてなんて急に言われても答えようがないもの。
I see. My bad.
いいえ、別に。だけどこれからは廊下での匍匐前進は慎みなさい。
Crawling, is it? True, the low crawl they teach every SDF grunt is a method of advancing with your body pressed flat on the ground, so it's not surprising you'd see it that way. But I didn't advance even a single meter, now did I? Your powers of observation are still lacking, Sakaki Yumiko, my friend. That was what we call the prone position. Shut up, Yuji.
来年に宇宙戦争が起こるというのは本当でしょうか？
Oh, it's Sachi. What, you were listening?
すみません。立ち聞きをしていたわけではないのですが、偶然耳に入ってしまって。
Sachi's anxious expression suggests she took my conversation with Sakaki completely seriously. I'd say that depends on the contents of Michiru's reports. If she really is sending transmissions into space, their contents will decide our fate.
みちる様が宇宙と交信を？それは初耳です。
Humankind ravages nature and slaughters innocent animals to eat their corpses. If the aliens learn of our savage ways, we won't get off easy. God damn it, this guy. If you want, we can go watch the crucial moment together.
はい、お供させていただきます。
There, you see? Hey, careful. Get any closer and you'll be in danger.
あの姿を見たのは初めてではありませんが、いつも通りショッキングです。
Listen, observe with caution. Can you see how her eyes have rolled back?
はい、白目を向いています。
Probably a sign she's under the control of the mothership. Shut the fuck up, man.
母艦から。さすが風見さんです。そんなことがわかるなんて。
Well, it's only a hypothesis for the moment.
あれは何ですか？ひどく体をビクンビクンさせていますが。
She may well be fighting with someone in the spirit world, but in the end, we're merely spectators. We can do nothing but watch her over her battle.
みちる様、大変な状況だったんですね。私、そんなこととはつゆ知らずにおりました。
Then again, we can also interpret this in a very different way.
と言いますと、
That's a dance.
ダンス。
At a glimpse, it may look like she's going into convulsions, but there's also the possibility that she's simply working on her moves.
頭から液体を垂らしながら踊りの練習。みちる様は一味違いますね。
If you think of it as a modern dance expressing her inner self, I'd say this is actually pretty spot on.
ですが、みちる様がダンスに精通しているなんて知りませんでした。踊っている姿を拝見したことがあまりないもので。
Amane didn't pick up those cooking skills in a day either. Expertise is the result of hidden dedication to your craft. That's actually true. In other words, Michiru is sowing the seeds here and now for the future flowering of artistic accomplishment.
あんな必死なお顔で、みちる様の努力には感服いたします。いつか素敵な暗黒舞踏を見せていただきたいものです。ねえ、二人で仲良く何してるの？
Shh! Keep it quiet.
今、みちる様のダンスの練習を見学していたところです。ダンス？どれどれ？ああ、なんだいつものあれじゃない。またやってるのね。
Doesn't it just bring a tear to your eye?
まあ、それはそうね。でも、ちょっと怖くて見たくないな。
Don't you understand the magnificence of those movements? These steps express the terror of an invasion from outer space. Truly a vanguard.
痛みを我慢してるようにしか見えない。
Philistine. To think your frigidity would extend to the fine arts as well.
ちょっと待ってよ。もって何よ、もって。私不干渉じゃないでしょ。
Oh, really?
何よもう。あまねさん、言ってしまわれましたね。
What a sad human being. Can't even appreciate this work of art. Or whatever it is. Since I'm basically just making stuff up here.
なるほど。
Okay, we bored yet?
いえ、まだ観察したいと思っています。
I see. You're passionate. I'm bored. Frankly, I got bored about 2 minutes in.
そうですか。では、私も掃除を続けたいと思います。それでは、失礼いたします。
Thanks for humoring me at least, Sachi. Good work. If you observe any dramatic changes with Michiru, make sure to report them to me.
はい。
As I'm leaving, it occurs to me that Michiru's movements are also similar to those of a zombie. If that woman is in fact one of the undead, I suppose I'll have to put a bullet in her head. What the fuck is wrong with you? Compared to walking the earth as the living dead, I'm sure she would want it that way. But yeah, she was basically just bleaching her hair. I don't know how much that hurts though. I've never really dyed my hair or anything like that. When you take a walk like this, you realize just how wide a range of shops there is in this town. Just for food, we've got butchers, fishmongers, greengrocers, and convenience stores. There's even 2 large supermarkets on either side of the station. In the town I was living in before, there was of course a shopping area, and its scale was adequate to avoid any problems in my daily life, but it was overall a pretty compact district, and most of the stores were small family-owned businesses. Doesn't even bear a comparison to what you find in a town fairly close to the metropolitan area like this one. I don't intend to estimate the wealth of the town by its facade alone, but looking at the number of chic retailers of clothes, jewelry, and other non-essential luxury goods, you'll naturally get an idea of this place's relatively high-class population. So, as for what I'm currently doing in this affluent town, I had been on my way to buy curtains for my windows, heading to a hardware store Amane told me about. Had been. Right, past tense. I noticed a certain abnormality about 10 minutes ago. Specifically, someone was on my tail. I thought my imagination might have been acting up at first, but when I abruptly changed my course just to be safe, they came charging after me in a panic. There's no way this is a coincidence. There are 3 pursuers. Since they're following me in a group, rather than dispersed individually, it's incredibly easy to tell. Pretending to look into the show window of a watch shop along the street, I casually glanced at their faces. But they weren't familiar in the slightest, and for a group with a grudge against my workplace, they seemed far too sloppy and dim-witted. Basically, they just looked like a bunch of juvenile delinquents. Although naughty lads like this exist in any town, it feels like you actually find more of them in well-off places like this, and they tend to be of a particularly ugly variety. They say the poor can't afford manners, but I find that living in a place where everything you need is dropped in your lap tends to twist people in its own way. That's true. Forget about hard work, and it's easy to fall into warped ways of thinking. Well then, what to do? What reason would they have for following me around? Although I've been thinking it over for a while, nothing is coming to mind. In which case, it would probably be best to ask them directly. Guess I'll lure them into some nice dark alley. Looking around my surroundings perfectly casually, I'm startled when something unexpected catches my eye. Shit. What did she have to appear at this of all times? No, it's nothing. Are you alone? Where's Amane? Amane said that? Cheeky girl. Well, what can I do about this shrimp? At this rate, she might get mixed up in this. I thrust my hand into the rear pocket of my school uniform and pull out 3 10,000 yen notes, rolled up with a rubber band. It's hot today, isn't it? Makina, feel like some ice cream?
食べたらダメなのよ。あまねえに怒られるのよさ。
Money to to freaking, just get her off our case, eh? What Amane doesn't know won't hurt her. I really want ice cream. Can you go buy some?
でも
Please, I'll explain it to Amane so she won't get mad at you, okay? I take Makina's hand and forcibly close it around 30,000 yen.
お金こんなにいっぱいいらないのよ。
Really? Then go ahead and use the change to dabble in the stock market.
株に投資するには足りないと思う。
Yeah, you're right, Makina. Anyway, ice cream. Head over to the Baskin Robinson on the other side of the station. Fucking every time there's like a like a copyrighted name on all these brands, it's so stupid. Make mine a caramel ribbon.
じゃあ私はラズベリーチーズケーキとパッポンストリートシャワーのダブルで。
Double or triple or whatever is fine. Get what you want.
それはとっても嬉しいのだけれども、素朴な疑問があるのよさ。
What?
なんでお兄ちゃんは一緒に行かないの？
Because I'm too embarrassed to go into that place. Come on, get going.
何か釈然としないものが胸の奥でくすぶっているのだけれども、いい女は余計な質問をして男を困らせないものなのよ。
No, that's called being dumb. Of course you're supposed to ask questions if something is wrong. Amane say that?
そう。
Cheeky girl.
じゃあ行ってくるのよさ。少しお時間がかかるかもしれませんが、しばしご歓談を。
Wait, who? While watching Makina trot off with the money clenched in her hand, I exhale slowly. The bunch following me doesn't show any signs of chasing after Makina and her money. In other words, they're not after me for my cash. If it's not a robbery, I guess I would leave a personal grudge or some sort of class resentment. Either way, not a particularly welcome situation. Well, whatever. After watching Makina disappear, I find an alley between a cleaners and a liquor store, and casually turn into it as if taking a shortcut.
おい、あいつどこ行った？
逃げられたんか？だから言ったべよ。
あいつやっぱ気づいてたんだって。言ってる間に探せよボケ。ほんと使えねえなてめえら。あ？てめえらって何よ？俺も入ってんの？何それ？リーダー気取り？てめえまたボコられてえの？あ？だからてめえ一度まぐれで勝ったぐらいで随分とビッグなマウス叩いちゃってくれちゃってんじゃんよ。あ？いいぜ来いよ。俺はいつでもやってやんよマジで。
やめろよ。今あんなことしてる場合じゃねえべよ。
Hey there.
てめえどこに隠れてやがった？
Ah, behind those beer cases. You need something?
のこのこと自分から出てきやがって。なんか用か？だってよ。
あんたそれ美浜学園の制服だよな。
I wonder which guy is man B. I'm guessing ABC from the left to right. But you never know. Yeah, it is. What about it?
じゃああんたには悪いんだけどもよ。ボコらしてもらうわ。
Why would you do that?
理由なんかねえよ。ただおめえをボッコボコにしてだけ。理解できたか？あ？
Hey now, you're scaring me. Please stop. I can't stand violence.
悪くは思うなよ。こっちも仕事なんでな。
Job.
ぐちゃぐちゃうるせえんだよ。
In an apparent attempt to intimidate me, the man fires a flashy burst of sparks from the stun gun in his hand. Is that man C? Yeah, he is man C. So I guess it is ABC, from left to right. The discharge of electrical energy scorches particles of dust in the atmosphere. A burning smell fills the air, breaking the depths of my nose. I close my eyes. In the next moment, a siren rings out in my head. I'm in pouring rain, pushing through the mud at my feet, the taste of iron spreading through my mouth. Hiding my body from the light of the flares, a knife dyed black in my hand. swallowing down my heart as it tries to leap out of my mouth. If you want to protect something, first protect yourself. It seems the time has come to make use of my super self-defense technique. Stop spouting Chunibyo lines, damn it, Yuji.
なんだてめえ。おとなしくしてりゃ、命だけは助けてやんぞ。
As the man raises his stun gun and takes a fighting stance, I draw a huge breath into my lungs. And weighing out my voice to the limit, I scream. Help me! Fucking stupid.
ふざけんな。
Someone help! Call the police!
でけえ声出すんじゃねえよ。おら！
Yeah, everyone should do this, by the way. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're... Well, technically depends on what sort of neighborhood it is. But yeah, when you're being outnumbered like this, there's nothing wrong with calling for help. Don't be a hero. The man's stun gun discharges a threatening pale bluish arc of electricity in my general direction. I reach out and gently grasp his outthrust hand as if trying to shake. Well, guess that's about what you'd expect. In this narrow alley, all three can't attack me at once. Maybe he planned for this sort of cramped space, or maybe it's just a coincidence from prioritizing ease of concealment. Either way, the iron pipe in the man with the black tank top's hand is cut very short, not well suited for disabling me with a single blow. That said, the guy next to him with the knife isn't much use either. It might look like the most dangerous of the bunch at a glance, but a weapon like that is actually a hindrance if he's not planning to kill me. In this situation, the flashiest, easiest to use weapon is also the most effective. The stun gun can stop me dead with a single attack. The ideal would be to fire off a single shot to eliminate my mobility and crush my fighting spirit. Then have all three surround me and beat me senseless.
はい。てめえ。手を離してこの野郎。
I don't think he called you a homo. What the fuck? Yo! What the translator? You're being a bit... You're being a bit homophobic there. No, that's just rude. I don't go around holding hands with men for the fun of it. No, it looks like a casual light grasp. Truth is, I've got a hold on a vital point of the hand he's holding the stun gun with. When I put pressure on this exact spot, he can't push or pull as long as he's maintaining his grip. If he were to pull back hard using the weight of his body, he could rip his hand free, but I'm controlling his center of gravity as well, so that's sadly not an option.
おい、何やってんだ。さっさとやっちまえ。
くそ。離せよ。
It's not like I'm grabbing you that hard. You're just like the monkey with his hand stuck in the jar. Might as well just drop the banana, right? At my words, the man's firm grip on his stun gun weakens for just an instant. In a moment, I feel the loosening of his proximal phalanx bones. God damn you, Yuji! Stop using these fucking terms. I twist his wrist sharply upward and dig my thumb hard into the side of his hand. By first extending the joints of his wrist, then attacking them with the pinpoint pressure of my finger, I've completely disabled his ability to maintain a grip. The stun gun slips out of his hand. Oops. Catching the stun gun as it falls from the man's hand, I jerk his arm upward to immobilize his elbow joint. Then push him hard against the pile of beer cases stacked along the wall. I mash the man's face against the beer cases while maintaining my incapacitating wrist hold. In the next moment, I push the stun gun against the scruff of his neck and throw the switch without hesitation. One down. Here, catch. As the next man raises his short iron pipe above his head like a hammer, I abruptly toss the stun gun in his direction. The man reaches out in a panic to try to receive the stun gun. Been a while since I've seen such a bunch of clowns. I kick my knee up sharply into his virtually defenseless abdomen. Instantly doubling over his belly in an instinctive attempt to protect the place he's been attacked. The man's chin sticks out as if begging to be kicked. Well, if you insist. The air that was in the man's lungs squirted out through his nose as his eyes rolled back in his head. He crumples face first onto the ground. I'll give you 2 seconds. Drop the knife. Oh, this is man B? I thought it was ABC from left to right, but turns out this guy is man B. 1,
悪かった。もうやめる。だから。
2. The man throws the knife in his hand aside and stumbles backward in a blind panic, trying to escape. And where are you going? I quickly trample down on his foot from above, sealing his movement, then strike hard at the base of his throat with the joint of my right thumb. Jeez, that's brutal actually. His throat crushed in the middle of a breath. The man's momentarily compressed trachea sticks shut under the inward pressure from his lungs, rendering breathing temporarily impossible. As the man claws desperately at his throat, his eyes bulge open wide and release a flood of tears. He falls with a thud onto his backside. I don't think we were done with our chat. You have to be a patient kid and listen to what others have to say, or you won't get any snacks, okay? Glancing sidelong at the man as he grasps his throat with both hands and flails his legs on the ground, I crouch down and pick up the knife he tossed away. Well, if your throat happens to get cut, you won't be able to eat your snack anyway, I guess. I've got questions. Would you be so kind as to answer? What, can't talk? Want me to open a hole in your lung? It'll release that air pressure so you can breathe nice and easy. The man responds to my offer by violently shaking his head from side to side. Don't worry, you've got 2 perfectly good lungs. Getting a hole poked in one won't kill you. As I stand looking down on him with a knife in one hand, the man scrabbles desperately at the ground, trying to put some distance between us. Seriously, where do you think you're going? You want me to make it physically impossible for you to run? Just answer my questions.
でも答える。
First question, who gave you the orders? One of you said this was your job, right? But you didn't show any interest in a little girl with money in her hand, so this wasn't just a stick-up. Somebody asked you, right? To beat the shit out of me in particular.
俺は知らないんだ。そこの鉢巻きの男が持ってきた仕事だ。あんたをボコれば30万くれるって。俺はただ一緒に来れば10万やるって言われて、何も知らずについてきただけなんだ。
Shit, screwed up. Should have talked to him instead of you. Still grasping the knife in my hand, I glance back at the man with the bandana. He's flat on the asphalt, his eyes rolled all the way back in his head, drooling from the mouth. Well, whatever. Next question. You come after me knowing who I am. You know my name.
知らない。ただ駅前で美浜学園の制服を着た男がいたらボコれってそう言われただけで名指しだったわけじゃない。本当だ。
Well, that's as expected. The first thing these guys asked me was about the Mahama uniform. That's evidence that they were targeting a male Mahama Academy student rather than Kazami Yuji. That said, I'm the only male student at Mahama Academy at the moment. Ultimately, I was the specific target. But considering the bunch of clowns they sent, it's hard to think this has any connection to anyone with a grudge related to my job. So who the hell? And for what reason? First things first, doesn't seem like I'm going to get anything useful out of you, does it? In that case, might as well finish this one off. Wake up Bandana Man and squeeze it out of him.
やめろ。やめてくれ。何をする気だ。俺を殺すのか。
Don't get so worked up. Rest assured, I don't kill people. Well, sometimes I might wish I had, by the time I'm through. What are you quivering about? You that scared to die? I realize that I'm still gripping the open knife in my hand. Ah, my bad. I'll give this back later. I release the folding knife's lock and shut the blade away with a snap. But I'd recommend not carrying toys like this around. Having one on hand makes you want to use it. With something like this in your pocket, your mouth gets smarter. You start swaggering around picking stupid fights with people, and if you lose control, you end up doing something you can't take back. He's probably just trying to look cool, but depending on a toy like this to prop up your ego seems more pathetic from where I stand.
そこで何をしている。
The blinding beam of a flashlight shines through the dim alley into my face, and I instinctively shield my eyes.
全員路地から出ろ。おかしな真似はするなよ。
Yeah, no need to scream. I'm not an old man. My ears work just fine.
なんだ。またあんたか。
That's my line. I have to say though, the police force in this town really is pretty impressive. Did you hear my scream?
ここで喧嘩が起きていると通報があったんだよ。まさかと思って来てみりゃ。やっぱりあんたか。
What's that supposed to mean? Almost sounds like you think of me as that guy who's going to cause trouble sooner or later. Talk about rude.
みたいなも何もそのままだ。いつかやらかすとは思っていたが、こんなに早いとはな。あ、とにかく署まで来てもらおうか。
Come on now, I'm the victim here, you know?
だったらその手にしたものは何だ。武器を捨てろ。無駄な抵抗はやめろ。
Shit. I'm still holding the knife I took from the man in my hand. Guess I won't be able to talk myself out of this one. Damn it. Guess that's that.
お兄ちゃん、どうしたの？
Ah, and of course, she has to come back at this exact moment. When I turn around, I find Makina standing behind me. Ice cream cones in both hands.
この子はあんたの妹か。
No, she's my classmate, I suppose.
あんたクラスメートの女の子にお兄ちゃんって呼ばせてるのか。
Well, for some reason, I've got the feeling this policeman's mental image of me is getting worse by the second.
とにかく署まで来てもらうぞ。
Yeah, fine.
お兄ちゃん、
Don't worry, it's not like I'm getting arrested. I'll be back as soon as I explain the situation. So you go ahead and head home. I drop a hand on Makina's head with a gentle thump, and use my other hand to take the ice cream cone she brought for me. Thanks for the ice cream.
その子も関係者だろう。勝手に返しちゃ困るな。
I said I'd come, didn't I? She doesn't have anything to do with it. Go ahead, Makina.
死なないで。
Not going off to war. Don't make that face. I'll be back soon. When I give her back a light push, Makina slowly walks away, pausing several times to glance back at me. After watching her disappear around a corner, I turn to face the policeman.
随分と似合わんな。
Even I can be kind to children when the mood strikes me.
そうじゃない。それだよ。
The policeman points at my hand where I'm holding my caramel ribbon cone. Mind your own business. I sink my teeth into the ice cream Makina brought me. And so, I find myself in this sweatbox for the second time. Having been through this once already, I've gotten a little used to the place. While the uniformed cop was guiding me here, I looked around the station for familiar faces. I noticed the young detective who interviewed me the other day, slurping up soba noodles at his desk. Damn. I'm kinda in the mood for some soba now. Trying to send a small message of apology for the last time, I smiled and bowed my head lightly in greeting. The young detective scowled back bluntly, and spun his chair away from me, still clutching his bowl. Possibly he's got some idea of my background now, as the gesture seemed to be saying, I've got no intention of playing nice with Ichigaya. Either way, it was a firm and an unambiguous rejection. With an attitude like that, it's no wonder the police rarely get any civilian cooperation these days. I nearly told him as much, but managed to swallow the words down with a smile. Looking at things from his point of view, I'm definitely nothing but trouble. If he sits down across from me again, I think I might as well come out and give him a vocal apology at least. But betraying my expectations, the person who enters the room is the sly-looking elderly detective I spoke with before my release last time.
いやいやいやいや、風見さん、またあなたですか。
Well times 4. I don't know if it's a vocal tick or what, but this detective seems to enjoy repeating that word. But this sort of guy just loves to play the slow-witted old man like that. Then suddenly ask you how many times did I say well just now, to probe how mentally focused you are in the conversation. If you respond don't know, having thrown you off balance, he'll barrage you with a sharp to-the-point questions. This is a sort of old codger you can never let your guard down around. I was the victim of a unilateral assault. I didn't go looking to cause trouble. More importantly, have you ID'd the people who attacked me?
それはも
3人とも窃盗や傷害の前科がありましてね、すぐに身元は判明しましたよ。
Who are they?
聞いてどうなさるおつもりです？
I'm not particularly looking for revenge, if that's what you're worried about.
ははということは素性によってはお仲間に？困りますな。確かにポンといなくなっても誰も気に留めないような連中ですがね。うちは職案じゃないんですからな。
Just a bunch of thugs?
そう考えてもらって間違いありませんな。あの中の一人は地元の暴力団とのつながりもありますが、まあ極めて善良な一般市民ですな。
Exemplary, huh?
あなた方に比べればという意味ですよ。
You didn't need to spell that out. And? They confess anything about why they attacked me?
はいはい、そりゃもう素直にゲロしましたよ。ですがまあ、なんと説明したものでしょうね。いわゆる最近流行りのネット殺人ってやつなんですよね。
Net murder?
いや、私も詳しかないんで、うまく説明できないんですがね。なんでも、ネットの掲示板に殺人依頼の書き込みをすると、いわゆる仕置き人という連中が代理で実行してくれるらしいのですわ。まあ殺人依頼の書き込みってのはほとんどが冷やかしで、実際のところは気に入らない相手の名前を書いて死なない程度に袋叩きにしてくれというのがほとんどだそうなんですがね。
So, they didn't have any idea of my background when they attacked me.
うちの若いのにそのインターネット掲示板とやらを調べさせたのですが、あなたの名前は上がっていないそうです。連中が名前も知らずにあなたを襲ったのは間違いないでしょう。
Who placed the request?
さあ、そこまでは。一応、ハンドルネームっていうんですかね。名前のとこにはマオと書かれていたそうですよ。何かお心当たりは？
Mao? No idea. You couldn't trace the IP?
なんだかよくわかりませんけどね。今うちの若い連中がその辺から調べてるみたいで、プロバイダーまでは終えたらしいんですが、どうにも漫画喫茶から発信されたみたいでね、今何人か向かわせとるところです。
What kind of an idiot runs a public net cafe without restrictions on BBS posting in this day and age? Regardless, I don't think there's much hope of finding the criminal among their customers. Oh, you'd be surprised how lenient it is over here in Indonesia, Yuji. It's pretty lenient.
いやはや、しかし最近は何でもネットですよ。私らジジイにはちんぷんかんぷんですわ。はは、私らはほれ、コンピューターってやつで動いてますんでね。
That gag physically hurt. If this was America, I'd sue.
ま、何にせよ恐ろしい世の中ですよ。あなたもせいぜい気をつけることですな。
Sorry for the trouble. Continuing this conversation isn't going to get me any more information. I lift myself up off the cheap folding chair.
ああ、風見さん、まだ帰ってもらっちゃ困るのですわ。
You've already got my statement, right?
そのことなんですがね。今回の件を傷害事件として刑事告訴されますか？
Not necessary. I haven't suffered anything except the loss of my time and energy.
まあ、それがよろしいでしょうな。風見さん、あなたちょっとやりすぎですよ。逆に過剰防衛の線で粘られると厄介ですよ。下手すりゃ特別公務員暴行陵虐罪ってやつですわ。おたくさんの組織じゃ裁判費用は自腹なんじゃないですか？
If they try suing me, I'll have a little talk with my superiors. You did say nobody would miss them if they fell off the face of the earth, right?
おお、怖い怖い。では今回の件は私の方でうまく処理しておきましょう。
Sorry, I'd appreciate that. Next time I stop by, I'll bring a present.
もう二度と来ないでくれるのが一番ありがたいですな。
Turning my back in the vaguely grating laughter of the sly old man, I leave the sweatbox. Now we're there for about what? 2 to 3 hours, maybe more? Well then, how do I explain this one to JB? It's all well and good that the police let me walk. My problems aren't quite over. This incident must have reached Ichigaya by now. As my direct superior and case officer, JB will be taking a lot of heat. In fact, she's probably grudgingly kowtowing, I think towing, to the brass right about now. I let out a short sigh, take my cell phone from my pocket and turn on the power. In the next moment, with startling timing, it begins to ring.
Hello, Yuji.
Hi there, JB. Your voice is lovely as always. I've been charmed out of my senses. Want to get married?
いいわよ。今すぐ婚姻届を持って市ヶ谷まで私を迎えに来てちょうだい。
My bad. Let's get down to business.
分かってるとは思うけど、私は忙しいの。だから担当直入に言うけど、次に問題を起こしたら謹慎ね。ついでに外出と主保物品も規制して強制労働を課します。
Hey, JB. Did you know there's actually a word for that now? It's called imprisonment.
大丈夫。寂しくないように週に一度は面会に行ってあげるから。
Is that how the grown-ups run things in this country?
正常に機能しない国防装置に払う税金はないの。言ってる意味はわかるわね。
I understand. My bad.
もし言い訳があるのなら聞いてあげる。
No, I don't have an excuse. But there's something I want to say.
言ってみなさいな。
JB, I love you and...
それと
No, I shouldn't. If I say this, you'll definitely get mad.
何よ。怒らないから言いなさい。
Okay, here I go. Quit your bitching, fish face. I'll stick that phone so far up your ass, you'll feel the ringtone you're calling. I quickly end the call and turn off the cell phone. JB, you're a truly understanding superior to lend an ear to your subordinate's abuse. It's thanks to you that I can vent my stress and enjoy my days in serenity.
お兄ちゃん。
Hmm? Machina, were you waiting for me here?
だってお兄ちゃん警察に連れて行かれちゃったし、後から来た警察の人に話を聞いたら、なんか3人の男の人と喧嘩したって言うし、私心配だったのよ。
I see. I dropped my hand on Machina's head with a thud. It's becoming a habit. How to put it? This head is at just the right height to rest your hand on.
ずっと待ってたのよ。
Sorry I worried you. When I look closely, Machina's still clutching the paper from her ice cream cone in her hand. She must have taken my "I'll be back soon" literally and stayed right here the entire time.
怪我はしてないの？大丈夫？
Who do you think you're talking to? There's no way I'd lose to the likes of them.
お兄ちゃん、喧嘩強いの？
Don't want to boast, but the only person who's beat me in a fight is my master.
じゃあ、私がピンチの時は助けてくれる？
You just worry about living a solid, decent life, and you won't need rescuing. More importantly, let's get back quickly. Amani must be worried.
怒られそうになったら助けてくれる？
Well, yeah, I think I can handle that much at least. Come on, let's go. Machina nods energetically, trots up next to me, and grabs hold of my left hand. First Amani, now Machina. Why are my hands in such demand lately? Apparently sensing my unspoken complaint, Machina squeezes my hand forcefully.
あのね、どこにも行ったら嫌なのよ。
You don't need to squeeze that hard. I'm not going to vanish all of a sudden.
絶対？
I can't make any guarantees. As I pull Machina along by her strangely warm hand, we set off for the dorm. We walk side by side, our lengthening shadows spreading out across the road. A long time ago, I used to be fascinated and puzzled by the way shadows would grow as the sun began to sink under the horizon. Who explained it to me at the time? I don't think it was my mother. Although I do remember walking hand in hand with my master at sunset, there's no way that woman would have given me a straight answer. which would leave... Ah, yeah. It was my sister, wasn't it? Bathed in the evening sun, pulled along by my sister San, I pointed at my expanding shadow and asked her, "Why do shadows get all long at sunset?" The answer she gave in return was overly technical, explaining how the changing of the seasons affected the phenomenon, and at the time, I didn't really understand any of it. Used to be. I was the one being pulled along.
何
No, it's nothing.
独り言が多いと変なやつだと思われちゃうのよ。
Duly noted. Hadn't thought I'd ever become the sort of person who could take another's hand in mine and lead them home. But there's no guarantee I'll be here to do the same tomorrow. By this time tomorrow evening, the hand that's holding hers may be gone.
Ah, コンコン。よし、行くわよ。おはよう。みんな元気にしてる？
I watch from behind as Michiru boldly leaps into the classroom like a paratrooper jumping into the sky over Normandy. Normandy? The heck is that? Naturally, she's not as heavily equipped. In her grim resolve, she's a match for any screaming eagle. Without such intestinal fortitude, there's no way the girl could charge so defenselessly into the classroom. Well, unless she's simply unaware of the situation. Seems like the latter. You are a truly foolish woman, Michiru.
ちょっと何あれなんで
And here I was, filled with admiration for your kamikaze spirit. To think you were just wallowing in ignorance.
知らなかったわよ。通りで教室に誰もいないわけじゃない。なんで教えてくれないのよ。
Because you didn't ask.
だって教室の中に蜂がいるなんて普通想像しないでしょ。
That's right. The situation, a bee, a flying pest has occupied our classroom, and now lies in ambush. Our classmates have all withdrawn from the field.
中が危ないなら危ないって先に言ってくれないと困るじゃない。
I mean, depending on how big the bee is, you can probably just get an electric racket to kill it. This is exactly why you're renowned as the most brainless of bimbos. Every action should be taken only after consideration of the worst case scenario. Don't you have any common sense at all? What kind of an idiot opens a door without assessing the risks?
ドアぐらい普通に開けるでしょ。
Whenever you open a door, do so in steadfast resolve to find Somalia waiting on the other side.
そんな覚悟持ってないわよ。何？どうやって開けばいいの？
Don't humor him, Michiru. You're not worthy of my instruction.
なんでそんなケチンボなのよ。安全なドアの開け方を教えなさいよね。
If you're that determined, I suppose I can make an exception. Step 1. Confirm the surrounding area. Standing in front of the door, I demonstrate by pointing sequentially to the ceiling, the floor, my front, my rear, my left, and my right, following with my eyes.
なるほどなるほど。周囲を確認ね。それから
Observe with the utmost caution, you understand? Search every inch of your surroundings on the assumption that they hide deadly traps.
それからどうしたの？
Quiet! We've just begun our 6-hour stakeout period, of course.
長いわよ。そんなに待てるわけないでしょ。
What? By all rights, we should obtain a map, infiltrate, and watch from cover for a week in advance. I'm granting extraordinary permission for a raid after nothing more than an observation period. And you're still not satisfied? Just how far do you expect me to indulge your laziness, you spoiled bottle blonde? And you call yourself Japanese?
いいから簡単に教えなさいよ。簡単に。
Very well. I'll teach you the simplest possible method, using nice small words. First, we slowly open the door. Then, we throw in the decoy. Next, we close the door and stand by until the decoys report.
開けなさいよ。ちょっと。ねえ。
Man, you're having so much fun, aren't you, Yuji? Listen up, maggot. You have a scouting mission to complete. Desertion in the face of the enemy is treason. If you turn your back on our foe and come crawling to safety, I'll re-educate you with my own hands. Calm down and maintain your composure. Don't let panic blind you. Use those holes in your head you call eyes. You're truly hopeless. Very well. I'll go so far as to sing a song to give you courage. Lala, gleaming like the morning sun. The fuck? Water, Paktan, Dreisig. I don't know if I'm actually even saying that correctly. I see. She's decided to silence her breathing and hide. Compared to noisily trying to escape, that's a much wiser course of action. She's gained such instinctive understanding of the art of reconnaissance in this short time. Michiru, my friend, we might make a scout out of you yet. Michiru's collapsed on the floor, her eyes rolling around in her head. What's all this then? Hey maggot, who authorized you to faint? Calm yourself. This thing is nothing more than an insect. Ha! Be eliminated. Situation resolved. I told you to calm yourself. This kind of bee can't sting. Listen well. A bee's stinger is part of its ovipositor. Therefore, males don't have one. Look closely. This thing is harmless. You know, as much as I say about getting that electric racket and then just killing it, I am actually very scared of insects myself. So I probably would react the same way as Michiru. They jump to conclusions and mistook this for a dangerous variety. Run out to get insecticide or something. That's a giant hornet. It stings. Also, it's poisonous. Shh! It'll sting you if you shout. Keep quiet. Listen carefully, Michiru. Giant hornets don't just sting. They inject potent venom. Slight digression, but this thing is called the yak killer because of its poison cocktail. I mean, I guess I understand why people like Michiru. Her reactions are pretty funny, and the interaction with Yuji is pretty nice. But still, she's not really my favorite. Don't make any sudden movements. Walk slowly and keep quiet. Fortunately, you're a blonde, so your coloration is similar to that of a hornet. In other words, there's no problem he accepts you as his friend. Oh, offering it a bohemian folk song. Very sensible. When they clack their mandibles together like that, it signifies a final warning. If you make any more stupid moves, you'll be stung for sure. Sachi drags a tank with an atomizing nozzle and hose into the room. It looks like it's designed for spraying agricultural chemicals. Apparently, it's full of her own cocktail. Yeah, god damn it, this game is so much more comedy than the games that I've played previously. Like that Chrono Box game that I played a couple of days ago. Well, I've been playing that for about a month or so, and just finished it a couple of days ago. It was less comedy and more like, damn, lots of stuff just happened the first couple of hours already. I guess the one that I said previously, Cross Channel, that one also has a lot of comedy. before it gets to the real meaty stuff.
では霧吹きで噴霧しますのでしばしお待ちを。ちょっと待ちなさい。あんた今何毒って言った？
Neurotoxin. Sounds like it'll take that hornet out for sure.
それをこっちにプシュプシュされたらまず私がどうにかなっちゃうでしょ。大丈夫ですみちる様。吸い込みさえしなければ問題ありません。いいですか？呼吸を15分ほど止めることはできますよね。さあ行きますよ。せーの。できないわよ。ねえサチ、できないからね。そうですか。ではこれは使用できませんね。一発でコロリなんですが残念です。私がコロリでしょそれね。
We've got to come up with a plan B or this won't end well. That hornet is pretty worked up.
それでなんでこのハチ私だけを狙ってるの？
Just what did you do to that poor hornet?
してないと思うよ。だって私わかんない。やっぱり髪の毛の色が似てるから？それともツンデレが女王蜂とキャラかぶってるとか？みちる様、やはり一吹きだけでもいかがでしょうか。
Stop it, Sachi.
効果がありますので。効果があったらダメなんだってば。そうですか。今度は低空飛行で飛んでる。
Seems to be aiming at your legs. Michiru, do you think you'll be needing those in the future?
当たり前でしょ。
I see.
騒がしいわね。
ユミコ、こっち来ちゃダメ。
え、何？ちょっとわからないんだけど。
いや、そうじゃなくて足元に
待って、朝からあんまり大声出さないで。
Stepped on it.
何？ちゃんと話してくれる？
なんでもないです。
そう、それならいいんだけど。
The squashed hornet stuck flat to the bottom of her shoe. Sakaki walks to her desk and takes out a book. Although the girl glances over here briefly, she soon pulls out her bookmark without another word and begins moving her eyes across the lines of text. Sachi, there's got to be a nest somewhere nearby. Think you can find it and give it a dose of that cocktail of yours?
はい、かしこまりました。つまり、ユミコ最強説ってことね。
Not the type you want to make an enemy of. With this, the hornet incident draws to a close without casualties. Just as they say, at times, ignorance is bliss. Alright. We are actually done with this episode. That was about 2 hours-ish. This game does feel like it goes by pretty fast for me. Mostly because, like I said, a lot of the interactions are pretty organic. Sure, it's not the most engaging story because it's a lot of slice of life. But it's doing something right in the slice of life because I'm laughing a lot at this game again, even though I already know most of the stuff that happens, right? But yeah, compared to something that's a lot more serious, this is definitely more on the lighthearted side, with a bit of philosophy here and there. I am pretty interested though in showing you guys Chrono Box at some point. That is actually just only Japanese, so I was playing it with the translation tool I was using. But alright, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Shit! See, I actually even forgot to say the like and subscribe thing on this whole full episode, except for the end. I guess like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I guess might as well just put it at the end of the episode. I don't really remember to do it in the beginning, and I'm usually just not. Yeah, it's kind of weird for me to put a placement in the middle or in the beginning anyway. So if you like it, like the video. If you also like this sort of thing, visual novels and stuff, subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.